Get in on the garden vibe because we're turning five. Hello, 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 and good afternoon. And of course, welcome. Welcome to the garden. Welcome to Garden Conversations with Rose. And today, August the 3rd, 2025. Garden Conversations is 5 years old today. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday. 5 years ago, on August the 3rd, 2020, with the tagline Expressions in the Shade, then called Whispers from the Garden of the Heart, we came into your space. At that time, all over the world, everyone was out of sorts. We were completely shattered. We were uncertain. We were afraid. We were irate. We were confused. And we hadn't had the slightest idea as to where we were headed. COVID 19 had hit us hard. COVID 19 had gotten under our skirts. It had lifted those skirts way over our heads, exposed our shame. It had laid bare our heels and uncovered everything that we didn't want others to see. We were huddled inside like cattle in a paddock. We were set away like caged birds. And death and despair and sadness were all around us. We didn't know what would ensue. We had no idea as to how the tables would turn. And so we thought it prudent when we had listened to the sadness and despair of all the people around us, when as we took to social media, we had noted how persons didn't know how to go about their daily lives. Depression had started to set in, sadness had taken root, and just being inside was killing a lot of people. We've always felt that nature is soothing, nature is calming, and nature is a healer. So we set ourselves to be in this very place, right here, in this natural Caribbean setting, and decided that prose and poetry and eventually the interview segment, exhortations, biblical precepts were the thing to use, all in an effort to bring some balance, to tap into persons' mental health awareness, ensure that persons were engaging in useful self-care because we had a heart. That's why we were called Whispers from the Garden of the Heart. And of course, we later changed our name to Garden Conversations with Rose, particularly when the interview segment would have been developed. There have been many quiet moments. There have been many intense moments. There have been lulls. There have been some disappointment. There have been excitement as well. But we've determined that we would stay the course and persevere. And of course, stay with you, stick it out, so that today we will say, get in on the garden vibe, because of course, we've just turned five. And so we want to welcome you to the garden. We want to congratulate those of you who've been with us throughout the entire 5 years. Those of you who have joined in along the way, we want to thank you for staying with us. And we want to welcome anyone who is quite new and uncertain as to what we have to offer. So, as I said previously, we've utilized poetry, original poetry. We've utilized some prose. We've touched on social issues. We've offered you exhortation and biblical precepts because, as a woman of faith, I can never ever stop saying how God is important and how it's beneficial to have Him as part of our lives. It's important to look to Him for guidance because without Him, we could be nothing. The interview segment has brought to the fore a few social ills and issues, touchy topics that persons may not necessarily want to talk about clearly. All in all, the main agenda, the main intention is to encourage everyone to engage in self care, to take some time to be out in nature, to sit quietly with yourself, to ensure that your life is balanced, to make sure that you are engaging and pursuing peace of mind, so that you know what to engage with, so that you are able to decipher and determine who needs to be in your space. We want to encourage you to be a good human. We just overall want to tell you that it's a good thing to be alive and well. And a garden scene, a natural scene, brings many blessings. We've just come from visiting the Nature Isle, where we engaged in many visits to historical and natural sites, some of which we'll be posting for you. We have also taken some time to have two children give the experiences about the Nature Isle. Those were my two little 7-year-old and 5-year-old nieces who were very excited about being in the land of their maternal grandmother and great grandmother. And they were keen on offering us a little bit of the experience. We want overall to say to everyone that we will continue to stay with you in the garden and offer you as much as we can as it relates to your self care, to mental wellness, to emotional well being, and of course, peace of mind. So, we want to just let you know that it's important to have your boundaries. Your boundaries will allow others to appreciate you mean business and you are not to be easily meddled with. Your boundaries gives you a sense of protection. It offers you a measure of autonomy so that you can take care of things. And so we want to encourage you to have your boundaries. We also want to tell you that it's always important to acknowledge God and look to Him as you move through life. We also want to say to you that you have to have your antennas up because there are persons very adept at being nasty nice. They know how to play the role of being extra wonderful, but at the same time, dig very deep into you with the evil intentions. We want to encourage you to move forward for self growth and don't settle for mediocrity because you were designed to be triumphant and victorious. And of course, we know that life can offer you many rocks and hard stones, but despite those rocks and hard stones, you have something in you that you can rise above and conquer. Be kind. It's a good human virtue. Get into a natural space. Take some time away to sit quietly in nature. It will do wonders. But of course, we want to also remind you to stay in the garden so that you will receive some sort of motivation, a little encouragement, something that will stick with you as you move through life's journey. Have a blessed Sunday. Have a productive work week. And for those who are engaging in entertainment, do so wisely and be mindful of where you are and what you are engaging with. All in all, take care of yourself, as we've always said, in every facet of your life. Remember, Garden Conversations with Rose Expressions in the Shade. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, our website. Get in the garden, get in on the garden vibes because we've just turned 5.